Yeah, good day, everyone. We're still waiting for people to join, so we're just going to give them another couple of minutes and then we'll get going. So I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all our webinar participants today, especially our current partners and customers. My name is Dean Maskell and I'm a platform sales engineer for Wallboard, and today's webinar is about our Wallboard desktop broadcast app. This is a high-level overview of our new desktop broadcast application and will last approximately 15 minutes with some questions and answers at the end. Although most of you may be familiar with Wallboard and our CMS, I would just like to take a moment to mention a few points on the company and our value proposition. I'd like to explain the main purpose of the desktop broadcast app and why we developed it and how we believe it can be used. I will list some of the main key product features and then give you a short demonstration of the desktop app. Wallboard was founded in 2012. Our business operations are headquartered in Dallas, Texas. We have a development team of approximately 25 plus working near Budapest, Hungary. We have 40 plus resellers and distribution partners operating in 20 plus countries in North America, Europe, Asia, and Australasia. This slide shows our platform's value proposition broken into 4 key areas. Easy to use. The user interface is very intuitive for both network managers, but also content creators. Content creation. Users familiar with PowerPoint and Photoshop will find very similar functionality to building great dynamic content. Data-driven. We bring live data into the system easily by creating a Google Sheet or using formats such as XML and JSON, or we can integrate with Google and Office 365 calendars. Versatility. We give our partners the ability and tools to create very custom solutions without the need to pay for Wallboard custom development time. So why did we create the desktop broadcast app? As we know, during this challenging time, businesses have had to quickly adapt to a changing workforce, mainly more remote workers. We know there are a number of good applications on the market for online collaboration, video, audio, conference meetings, or even keeping in contact on a one-to-one basis. However, trying to get important corporate messages and company updates out to a mixed workforce has not been so easy, especially when this is mainly done by email. Email apps can be off, or emails can also be easily missed. Therefore, having a way to either get an important message or notification directly to a user's desktop, or even have important information always being shown, is key to having an efficient but also an engaged workforce. The desktop broadcast application gives you the ability to ensure you get your relevant company information to the people who need to see it. Some examples of use cases are company HR and marketing updates, company IT related information and important corporate reminders, health and safety messaging, or data-driven content for support desks and sales organizations. One of the main benefits is that you can bring data from multiple different places and have it in one uniquely customized and branded, easy to navigate app right on your desktop. So moving on to our key features, the desktop broadcast app is specifically designed to currently work with Windows 10 machines only. You'll need a multi-core CPU and 4 gig of RAM, but that's about it really. Remote installation. For anyone familiar with the wallboard platform, when adding a digital signage screen, you need to enter a 4-character code. As you can imagine, if trying to install many tens or hundreds of screens, this could be a very time-consuming effort. Wallboard have created a new way to also install your desktop devices via install rules to generate an install key. The desktop broadcast app is installed using an MSI file that is accompanied by an editable batch file, meaning network administrators can remotely install the application. The batch file includes the install key, which will not just automatically add the device to a screen group and download default content, but can also define default parameters such as whether the end user can do functions like move, minimize, or exit the on-screen content, or whether the content is always on top, and even the size or position of the content. You can create different batch files with a number of unique install keys if you have different screen groups or different contents that need to be assigned. The content editor. The desktop broadcast application has been designed so that it uses the same loop and content editor that is used for our digital signage platform. There is no need to learn anything new, and you can use the editors as normal. The designs can be fully customizable, and you can still use text, images, and video, trigger alerts, and integrate data into your content. Furthermore, there will be some pre-designed templates to get you going out of the box, but also we can work with you for your first unique content for your particular use case. You can even interact with the content on screen by setting up interactivity in the content. You can open MS Teams to a specific person via one touch. You can open a new email to a specific person via one touch. You can open up a URL to either an internet or intranet page, open company social media pages like Facebook or Twitter, and you can jump to specific content areas if you need to. As an example, you may wish to quickly check HR or IT related information. As mentioned previously, the content is completely customizable. However, should you need to send either completely new content or maybe just some temporary content that may need different resolutions or alignments, you can override the default settings by using a content script. Similar to the default parameters on first installation, you can make changes if the end user can move, minimize, or exit the on-screen content, or whether the content is always on top and the size or position of that content. I will now give you a brief demonstration of the desktop broadcast application. So this is where you will create your install key within your client. You go to settings and install rules. And here you can see within this section is where you will create a name. You can add available licenses, assign it to a screen group, assign content default, your content, your default content, and even default emergency content should you wish to. When you press the save button, you would then get the install key. It is this key that you copy and paste into the batch file. I will now show you very quickly the editor to show you how it is exactly the same as you may be used to when creating the digital signage content. You can see that your playlist is to the left-hand side here, next to your available widgets, followed by your main content area. Lastly, on the right-hand side is where you can configure widget, your page, or content parameters. As you can see, I'm now showing you an actual content running on the desktop. This is an actual use case format with one of our partners who wish to use the desktop broadcast app internally for their organization. Firstly, you can see that I can move by these 6 dots here. I can move the application around. I can minimize the application, and there's 2 options here. You can do it via content. So here you can see I can actually maximize again if I wish to, but also on the taskbar, if you click on the icon, I can completely minimize it out of view. Whilst the main app is minimized, if a toaster notification is activated, it can show on the desktop pop to top style. I will show you a toaster notification shortly. I can also completely exit the application via the system try if I right click on it and go to exit. That's only if the parameters have been set up to allow this. So this is the main part here. This is a Twitter social media widget. You can see that you can interact with this widget. I can scroll through it. I can click to get further information from the Twitter as well and interact on this side. And I can even interact with YouTube videos as well. So I can play a YouTube video here if I wish to. I'll now move to the company updates. Here you can see where the company updates are shown. It shows a header, a subheader, and there's also a URL link should there be a URL available. So here you go, I've just clicked onto that and it takes me through to the case study via my browser. If the update is less than a day old, you will see a small notification. Here you see a little red bar, whereas the one below has nothing. On the HR update here, there is no URL available, so you don't get a little button to say that you need to go off and take a look at a link. In a future release, we are looking on how we might be able to add an acknowledgement button here. And you could also then report back if who has or has not acknowledged this. We're also looking at options on how companies can use or show surveys through the desktop app as well. I'd like to show you a toaster notification, but before I do, I'll show you how this content is automated by a simple Google Sheet to add your updates and send out toasters. In this scenario, we've used a Google Sheet, but we can collect the data via other methods, such as XML and JSON. For anyone unfamiliar with a toaster notification, it's usually a small window that normally pops up to the bottom right of the desktop display with some information on. So as mentioned, for this content, we've integrated it with a very simple Google Sheet. You can see that we have a header, a subheader, a URL, and lastly, you just need to put a start date in. So when you add a new update, a toaster notification will be sent out on the next data refresh. So let me enter a new update. Going to cheat slightly, I've put one in earlier. Here you go. Let me just minimize. Again, when it slides in, you can see we have a header, subheader. I can go to the link if I wish to by going to go, or I can close out early should I wish to, but it will just disappear. Go back to company updates. As you can see, we now have the new one in there. You can see header, subheader. It's got a little red bar because it's a day old, and I can go. Opened up on the other window, apologies. You can see it's now opened up to a case study for MediaWing. I'd like to show you how we have also added a toaster notification for the IT department. Let me just move to my IT messages. In this example, the IT desk are aware of email issues, so want to push out a notification to all users. Minimize again. Oh, there you go. And the message has popped up already. You can see that there's an emergency and what's going on. When the emergency is over, I can go back. So everything's fine. And there you go. Everything is fine. And again, if I want to, I can close out this early. It will take me back to the minimized. Now, as we've mentioned before, the content is completely customizable. We also mentioned that you can change parameters via a content script. So let me show you a change of content. Let's go to a different one. So I'll just quickly show you the content script. Again, you go to content here. Content script is here. And again, you can see the certain parameters here, whether it's always on top, whether someone can minimize it or not. And in this case, the alignment, we've asked it to be left and top. You've probably seen that this last one was bottom and right. So as you can see, it's very easy. I just drag and drop it into my group. So in this scenario, you can see, well, I can still move this around if I want to. In this scenario with a support desk supervisor, we have some company information on the right-hand side and some upcoming events in this section here. And also we've got some high-level data here. So let's say if you want to see some lower-level detail, I can click on this button here and it gives me some more information. It's a bit more granular. You can see that I've got the tickets by priority and by person here, plus some other important information down here. Should you wish to get a bit more granular than this, you'd probably go to your actual ticketing portal. Now, let's say I've received a call. I might need to put them through to another person. I just want to say something about this page here. So as long as we've got this underlying information brought into our system as a data source, we can show this type of information you are seeing on this page. You can see if a person is available or not, and we can show this in a couple of different ways. So you can see either the background can change, or we can actually change the font color as well, depending on their availability. I can use this page to see if a person is available and let the caller know if it's likely that they might be going through to voicemail, for example. As you can also see, there's a Teams icon here. If I press the icon next to the person's name, I'd like to speak to Jeff. By one touch, it opens it up and it actually sends me, and you can see it opens it up for Jeff. And we can also group people into different departments as well. So lastly, I just want to show you that we can also, if you have an emergency and you wish to get out a message, again, we can automate this process. If I go back to our sheet, we've got an emergency, it's a fire. And as you can see, we've now got an emergency. Once the emergency is over, you can go back. And as you can see, it is now gone. So if you have this information in a database, we can automatically update this via a data source, so via XML or JSON. Then you would not have to manually update it at all, and this could be fully automated. So that's the end of the overview demonstration of the desktop broadcast app. I'd like to now open up the webinar to any questions that you may have. Oh, just going to have a look at the questions now. Will this presentation be recorded? Yes, it will be, and I believe it should be being sent out probably tomorrow. Can we change the look of the minimized box to show customer branding instead of the app name? Yes, we can. That's not a problem at all. Again, that's just content. And can you assign content via AD groups? Currently, this is not supported at the moment. That's probably something we're looking to do in a future release. Can content be scheduled by date? Yes, it can. So on a page view, you can set, we have something called only play. So if you've got only certain pages that you want to play on certain dates, you can schedule it this way. If you have completely different content, then you can schedule it via our GUI scheduling. Android and iOS release, that is something that's being looked into at the moment, and we'll give out an update at a later date. Not sure I understand the next question, which is says targeted content for user. Oh, okay, I think I do understand that. So yeah, so let's say if you have agents in a call center or so forth, you can set it up so that they can be individually targeted, or their data would be for them. Let's put it that way. We don't currently have a list of network requisites for the installation. Again, we will follow up on that afterwards and get information out. Currently, sorry, we've got another one here for if there's going to be a Mac OS release. Again, we will get that out at a later date. I know it's being discussed at the moment, but currently not at the moment. Is it possible to receive a copy of this nice content? Yes, so we've used this one, and we will use this as a demo or a template. If anyone needs it, let us know. The representatives, wallboard representatives or partners will be in contact after this call anyway. We can follow up in separate sessions to help you with that. Is there any more questions? I think that should be it. I've not seen any more. Okay, everyone, I think that looks like it is it. As I say, representatives will be in contact, and I look forward to maybe speaking to some of you, doing further demonstrations and helping you with this. Thank you very much.